We're back at it, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. The world is in serious turmoil. America, your boy Trump just approved imminent attacks on the Islamic Republic of Iran. Ongoing tensions in the Middle East, man. Protests continue intermittently, often driven by, people are saying it's economic pressure. People calling for social freedom, quote unquote. You know, the Iranian government remaining firm. Majority of the people causing all the trouble, guys, is more than likely foreign agents. You know, Iran hosts the largest population of refugees, Afghanis, those of like, who are easily recruited by the Mossad and a lot of these other places. We also got the UAE, Saudi Arabia, that situation going on. Saudi Arabia giving the UAE 24 hours to pretty much remove their forces out of northern or southern Yemen. And a lot of it has to do with the NOEM project. People are saying the UAE is paying the Houthis essentially to target Saudi Arabia's NOEM project, which will allow trade routes to go through the Red Sea under Saudi control. The Mossad does not want that. They want to be able to have full control or dominance in that region. Saudi Arabia, obviously a huge player. They just bought F-35s from Donald Trump. They have nukes in Pakistan. Israel is not a military threat to Saudi Arabia. They want to remain monopolizing the. They want to monopolize the power struggle in the Middle East. We also are experiencing global inflation, supply chain issues all over the world. U.S., China, and major competition. U.S. obviously. Big strength that the U.S. has is the military and their alliances. China, tech and AI, surpassing the United States. NATO is, again, still essential to Europe's defense, but, you know, a lot of people are speculating NATO will disband in 2026, right? We had an assassination attempt on President Putin, right? Without Donald Trump's dumbass knowing about it, right? So MI6 went about themselves and tried to assassinate President Putin, failed to do so. That would have ignited a world war. Okay, because Putin has it in his, you know, he's already said if they try to target Putin, he's gonna go. You know, Russia's gonna go after the entire European Union. So a lot of people are actually speculating too that, you know, Donald Trump is he essentially agreed to Israel attacking Iran. Not only to Israel attacking Iran, but he essentially said that if they were to continue their ballistic missile program, that there will be an attack to target the production of the ballistic missiles, and if there's if they try to rekindle their nuclear program, it's all a bunch of bullshit, right? They're still producing ballistic missiles. They're still, they still have the nuclear fissile material. They have several different nuclear facilities that are still functioning, and they have they can assassinate all these scientists and stuff. They have the science behind it to create the nuke. If not, they can get one from North Korea, Russia. I've even heard that people have said that top secret information that people in the Pentagon have already said they have it, which I believe so, because it's nuclear weapons. It's an old technology. But there's all these like little propaganda marks and stuff that people don't really dig into and actually find out what's really behind all that. And it's all a bunch of bullshit to, you know, get people to buy into this whole, oh, we need to attack X, Y, and Z country. It's really just a, you know, it's a look. The only way the U.S. dollar remains dominant and America remains the dominant superpower in the world is through war. They have to constantly be in a state of war, right? Constantly be in a state of war. They just ended the Afghanistan charade, and now they're looking into Iran, right? That's the new target. They have to weaken Iran. We'll see how that goes, right? It's gonna be a disaster. I want to get into this. So, General Flynn is issuing an emergency message to Trump and the Americans concerning a very serious situation, is allegedly, and we've been talking about how Israel's going to start targeting, well, not Israel, but like, you know, Mossad and CIA are going to start targeting journalists and commentators and stuff like that speak out against, you know, the globalist and Israel and, you know, the Peter Thiels and stuff like that, right? So a lot of those journalists are now, there's word out that they will be neutralized, right? We saw that Israel just broke the record for most killed journalists throughout history. Throughout history, guys. Throughout any conflict, the most killed journalists was the Gaza-Israeli conflict. 244 journalists, right? Now they're having an issue with, no big surprise, people actually supporting their campaign against the Gazan children, right? Because they're not targeting Hamas, they're targeting children and women. And now they're talking about like, oh, we have an eighth front going on. This is Netanyahu. Let's pull up this snake devil. He's saying, oh, we have an eighth front, and that's the information war. Well, how do you win the information war if we have thousands upon thousands of footage circulating all over the internet of you guys committing blatant war crimes? How are you going to erase all that? All right, you're gonna shut everybody down. You're gonna shut everybody's mouth, and everybody knows about these tactics now. So it's funny how arrogant these little fuckers think they are. But let's get into this video, man. Let's get into Netanyahu talking about the eighth front, piece of shit. And the only reason this piece of shit is continuing this war is to save his political career. Even people in Israel know that. All right.
It's true that we have an eighth front, and the eighth front is the rising tide of anti-Semitism around the world, and the tremendous battle that we have for the truth. And if I can leave you with something today, it is this. Just as we fight the physical battle on the battlefield, and we win, we must also fight the battle for truth. We must also stand up to this scourge of anti-Semitism that endangers not only us, but every society it is infected. It starts with the Jews. It never ends with the Jews. You nip it at the bud. It is true that we...
Yeah, definitely. After you guys killed 250 some odd journalists for reporting the death and destruction and genocide for the past 2 years. Oh, we have an eighth front. Oh, all of a sudden they have an eighth front of anti-Semitism, right? Which is also another funny term. And what he did cleverly, this little asshole, he does an interview when he's out here, and this little asshole tried to tie in the minorities of America with anti-Semitism, right? He tried to, like, let me see if I can find it. It was hilarious. Something to the point of like, oh, it starts with anti-Semitism and then it goes to Hispanics and blacks, and and everybody's reposting it. Like, what do you mean by that? How are you tying anti-Semitism? You guys aren't even Semites, right? To begin with. To blacks and Hispanics and all these other minorities and all this other shit. This is the interview here. I'm trying to find the little fucking clip. Let's just go through the interview here.
Mr. Prime Minister, nice to see you again. Good to see you.
And by the way, she asked a pretty interesting question, which stumped this clown about the West Bank. So let's get into it.
Well, it's warm and sunny and very friendly.
Indeed it is. I want to talk first about Ron Gavili. He is the last hostage. He's not alive, but he's the last hostage. Hamas has not returned his remains. Is that because they don't know where his remains are, or are they lying?
Well, we're looking for him. And I have to say I was deeply moved when President Trump, who's been the greatest friend we've ever had in the White House, by far, he met the family. And you should see how his heart went out for them.
Oh,
the parents of this hero.
President Trump.
He single-handedly, he ran to the front on October 7th when these monsters invaded us, raped our women and murdered them, beheaded our men, burned our babies. He fought single-handedly with a broken arm. And then he got shot twice. And he killed 14 of these terrorists until the very last moment, and the last bullet. And then they killed him and took his body, so we're going to bring him back. And the president was right. He said, we'll get him back, and we'll get him back, one way or the other.
President Trump once said, I heard him talk, I thought, like, well, if he's dead, why bring him back? But once he talked to the families of different survivors, he got it, why it was so important to return the remains, even knowing that it was not a live body, not a live person being brought back.
You know, people have that sentiment that, at the very least, they want to have a grave that they can come to. And I understand that. But in any case, you know, with our combined efforts, we brought in the last 20 live hostages. Nobody believed it. But President Trump and I believed it, and we coordinated our efforts. We on the military side, he on the political side, made a tremendous coalition. And we got 254 altogether out of 255. One left.
But is Hamas, do you think Hamas knows where his remains are? Or?
Well, you know, I can't tell you, but I can tell you we'll get him back.
Hamas. Has Hamas, I know yesterday President Trump said that Israel's 100% kept its agreement under the 20-point program. Has Hamas...
By the way, this clown was standing next to his, pretty much his employee, Donald Trump, right? His slave. After he showed him his 15-minute clip of them having Donald Trump with 15-year-olds on Epstein's Island, he's like, you better get out there and tell them we're going to attack Iran with you, right? Like, we're going to support you all the way. He goes and tells Trump, because Trump said, I bring all the hostages back. I bring all the hostages back. And Netanyahu corrects him in front of, like, a bunch of journalists, and then he's like, no. He's like, we're forgetting one. And then Trump looks at him all confused. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, oh. And then Trump's like, oh. Like, something shot up his ass. Like, oh, the Epstein clip. Yeah. We still have 254. We got 254. We still have one remaining. You know, it was like the most pathetic thing ever,
because
man.
obviously not returning Mr. Gavili is one thing that they were supposed to do, but what about the other steps that are required?
Well, I think the president had it right. You know, we've battered them. I mean, they were part of this larger Iranian axis, and we had a seven-front war with Iran and its proxies, and we achieved great things. And against Iran with President Trump's help and what he calls the beautiful B-1s, you know, they are incredible machines. And only America has it. And only America had President Trump to send them. So we accomplished great things, but we still have things to finish. One of the things we have to finish is to get Hamas disarmed. And President Trump couldn't have been more explicit on that. That's part of the deal. That's part of their commitment. And they have to get rid of these, you know, they still have 20,000 fighters. We've obliterated a lot, but they're all armed with Kalashnikov rifles, and they execute the Palestinians who resist them.
Yeah.
So you've got Altogether, they have 60,000 assault rifles. That's disarming them, you know, and we'll get it. We'll do it.
In terms of getting those arms into Gaza, it appears to me, right, and I think that I read, is they were coming through the Philadelphia corridor,
right,
which Egypt was supposed to guard. So obviously...
Oh, here it is. Here it is. We're going to get into this. All right, pay attention to what she's asking him, because we all know it's quite evident that Netanyahu allowed Hamas to gain all this, all the weapons and all the missile production and all the stuff that Soleimani came and, you know, allowed into Gaza through the Philadelphia corridor. Netanyahu turned a blind eye to it. Even the funding, right? Even the funding. And part of a strategy was to separate the radical, what he calls the radical, you know, Islamist Hamas, and the PA, which is supposed to be like the quote unquote legitimate Palestinian force or authority. And that was his whole strategy, is to divide and conquer, essentially. And watch how she asks him a question he really can't answer, because he was behind a lot of this shit. Look at the reaction to this devil's
supposed to guard.
Look at this.
So obviously Egypt or whoever is supposed to guard it didn't guard it effectively, because he wouldn't have had all those weapons on October 7th in the bloodbath.
Well, they had tunnels underneath for smuggling them. That's why I insisted on going there. But that was only part of the larger thing. We changed the Middle East. We've had an unbelievable success. And
by the way, they funded a lot of their tunnel systems, and they allowed Ehud Barak, I'll pull the video up right now, said that a lot of the tunnel systems and stuff like that, all that was built by the IDF.
Degrading Iran, which was a first-rate power, now it's a second-rate or third-rate power. They were throwing their weight all over the place, exporting terrorism, not only to every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela. They're in cahoots with the Maduro regime, you know. They're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere, and then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran's and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to America itself. I think we've dealt them devastating blows, but there's still some work to be done with the proxies, and we're doing it.
Well, you mentioned Venezuela. Venezuela's had, Senator Marco Rubio has been speaking about this, Secretary Marco Rubio has been speaking about this a long time. Hezbollah does have its foothold in Venezuela, has for a long time, is the drug trade. They may use guns against Israelis, but they use drugs against the United States.
Exactly. Well, I wouldn't eliminate the possibility of arms shipment from...
That may be next.
...from Iran to Venezuela. So this has got to change. I mean, and I think President Trump is showing remarkable leadership, facing up to that threat here, supporting your fighting ally, Israel, to fight not only for our interests, but also for American interests against these radical Muslims who basically chant death to America, and they mean it. And so we have to make sure they don't have the means to do it or the will to do it, and that's what we're doing.
Well, you and I have spoken many times before, and you always point out that the beef that Israel has is not with the Iranian people, it's with the Iranian regime.
Right.
And now, in the last few days, they've had a series of protests, people out in the street because they've had a currency collapse. Do you see this as perhaps a big change maybe coming in Iran, or is this just something that Iran is going through right now?
Well, they're going through it for a very simple reason. You know, this tyrannical regime has oppressed the people of Iran. They're great people, enormously gifted, with a great past, and they could have a great future. But this future has been taken over, really hijacked by these theological thugs, the mullahs and the Ayatollah who's on top of them. And what did they do? They took the billions that they had and put them, you know, chasing nuclear weapons and proxy terror groups instead of giving it to the people. So the people don't have food, they don't have electricity, they don't have water. Iran could be one of the richest countries in the world.
Yeah, and they're sanctioned and economically isolated by the West, similar to what they're doing to Russia, simply because they don't want a Starbucks and a Rothschild banking system in their country. So they've been having sanctions and all this other shit thrown at them, aside from the billions of dollars that they receive. You know, so yeah, obviously they're going to be self-sufficient and make their own weapons and stuff to defend themselves, because they're literally being isolated by the so-called global powers. You know, so they have to go to China, Russia, and that's what another thing that Donald Trump's dumbass is doing, is him tariffing all these European countries and all these other countries. Oh, I'm going to tariff this guy. I'm going to tariff this guy. You're just giving China, you're handing them to China. China's literally going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll take you with open arms. We'll come and fix your country up, and we'll make you dependent on the Chinese economy. You know, I don't know what kind of strategy this dumbass is trying to implement by tariffing all these countries. And countries that literally, like, if the dollar falls, like, they're gone. They're going straight to China and Russia, and China's going to accept them with open arms. Imagine the entirety of Europe, you know, fucking economically dependent on the Chinese, bro. What would that do to America? Holy shit.
Their GDP with 100 million people, almost 100 million people, is smaller than Israel's with 10 million people. They've robbed their people of the future, and the people are expressing it now in protest. You know, if you have a change, it'll come from within. It's up to the Iranian people, and we understand what they're going through, and we're very sympathetic to them.
What's actually sort of parallels what's going on in Venezuela, though. I mean, the people there in Venezuela, they've got hyperinflation up to something like 555%, I read recently, which I thought was almost impossible numerically. But they, you know, they're starving. They are one of the richest. They're the richest country, or could be in our hemisphere.
Actually,
because of their supply of petroleum or oil.
Right. Well, when you have these tyrannical regimes, these dictatorial regimes that that suppress any initiative, any free market economies, but any human rights, the people eventually speak up, and that's what they're doing now in Iran. No question about it.
In your wildest dreams 5 years ago, did you think that there'd be this change, this abrupt change to the Middle East? Because now, I mean, the Middle East is undergoing a huge transformation.
Huge, and it creates the opportunities for peace. And President Trump and I are committed to expanding the Abraham Accords in the Middle East and beyond to big Muslim countries, and we think that's within reach. And that's really the job we have before us, to assure security, but also to expand peace and prosperity. And that is made possible because of our cooperation. And President Trump has been an incredible president, not only for us, but against the forces of radical Islam that threaten America, and also to build new alliances between Israel and our Arab neighbors and Muslim countries. And I think, he should be credited. He's done a lot for peace. He's solved so many, in a year. He solved so many conflicts around the world. People didn't believe it, Azerbaijan and Armenia, I mean, nobody dealt with that. He dealt with that. And there are many other places. So, I don't know if he'll be given the Nobel Prize because I don't know the makeup of that committee. But I'll tell you one prize he's going to get. And we announced it in the visit. We have the highest prize that Israel can give. It's called the Israel
Epstein
Prize.
Files.
It's given to exceptional contributions by Israelis. And for almost 80 years, we've had a tradition. Only Israelis get it. Well, that's changed because this year, President Trump will be the first non-Israeli to receive Israel's highest prize, the Israel Prize. And boy, there's so much enthusiasm about it. There's so much support and appreciation for the role he's played, both for Israel, the Middle East, and the world.
Why do you think here in the United States, he's got 56% of the population adore him? Mega people. And then you've got 50% of the population that thinks he's awful.
Well, history has a way of settling these questions over time, and people can see who are the outstanding presidents. I'm the son of a historian. I'll tell you, history will judge him well. So sometimes it takes time for people to appreciate, because there's this battle, internal battle of, constant vilification and political opposition, but ultimately, that's settled over time. The dust settles, and you see who made the difference, who really changed things, who brought America back. He did.
It's interesting how, looking back at what he's done in terms of contribution, is it's not just now here towards Israel, but something that may not seem like a huge deal to a lot of people, but is. But in 1995, Congress voted that the U.S. Embassy would move from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Right.
President Clinton wouldn't do it. President Bush wouldn't do it. President Obama didn't do it. President Trump gets into office his first term and he does it.
Yep. He says it like it is. He said there are oppressed Christian communities and America has to stand with them. So guess what? We stand with them. We stand with them because the Christians are oppressed everywhere in the Middle East.
Guys, they've literally bombed every church in Gaza since the start of the war, and they've looted all the churches in the West Bank. They spit on Christians as you visit like the holy sites there. Several people have already reported on this. That's why a lot of Christians are like coming out like, yeah, these aren't the people of the book that we talk about, man. These guys are over here spitting on us. So again, we gotta keep an eye out on the propaganda shit, man.
Place, Israel. That's the only place where the Christian community is growing, and it's thriving because that's part of our ethos. Everywhere else, they shrink. But even in Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus, when we controlled Bethlehem 30 years ago, there were more than 80% of Bethlehem's population was Christian. We gave it to the Palestinian Authority 30 years ago, and guess what happened? The Christian population plummeted, and it's now less than 20%. They all leave. They left in Lebanon. They're leaving other parts of, they're leaving Syria. They were kicked out of Turkey, many of them. So I'm committed to defending them as best as I can in the Middle East. And I also identify with what he said about Nigeria. In Nigeria, they're massacring them. To the extent we can help with intel, we'll do that too, because that is one of the things we stand for. And I think you're very lucky to have a man with this conviction, this sense of cutting to the bone, getting right to the heart of things, and to act. You can identify things, and not many leaders can do that. But there are fewer who actually act on what they identify. I think this is a change. You asked me 5 years ago, we could imagine this thing. I don't know about 5 years ago, but on the second day of this Seven Front War, when we were attacked viciously by Hamas, and the next day by Hezbollah, I said, we will change the Middle East.
People think
Yeah, I mean, this guy is such a liar. And then he'll go in Hebrew and say he wants to expand and take more territory and build greater Israel. And we need to get the Goyim and all that shit to fight our wars. And we control America and all this other shit.
Iran's axis of
massive liars, bro. And Trump's one of those guys, and a lot of people were like, oh, Trump's this he's this hero, he's such a smart guy, oh my god, it's Donald Trump, man. And we know why a lot of the why he kind of lets Israel come to Congress and the Pentagon and call the shots. This is the witch that donated several $1 million to Donald Trump. I think $100 million to Mr. Trump's candidacy. And she essentially wanted him like, hey, you need to allow us to annex the West Bank, right? Which is illegal under international law. Obama, as sick as Obama was, didn't even allow Netanyahu to annex the West Bank, right? Or to allow the settlements and stuff. Even Trump checked Netanyahu one time about the settlements, and obviously he didn't listen. So he has $100 million from her. He has another $100 million from the Saudi king. Then he took $1 trillion from the Saudi king, and then he went in they have him on tape with 15-year-old girls. So Trump's not your hero, guys. Trump's a clown, potential pedophile who is being dicked around by this sick maniac, right? A sick genocidal maniac. Arrogant son of a bitch. Let's get into this other pedophile here, Rabbi Shmuley. So Rabbi Shmuley, man, he saw that Netanyahu was at Mar-a-Lago, and he's like, oh, let me go pull up on him and thank him. Look at the rhetoric this guy's using. He's acting like this conflict is the same conflict that occurred thousands of years ago against the Egyptians and the pharaohs and all this shit. He's like comparing it to that.
He was not even a man. Vayach es hamitzri vayitmaneo b'chol. So he smote the Egyptian. So he destroyed Hamas. So he hit Hezbollah. My he was not.
And this guy's by the way, this is a Khazarian Jew, you know, from Central Asia that was converted in Europe. You know, he had nothing to do with the Jews that were persecuted by the Egyptian, the pharaohs essentially, and the Romans and all that shit. So absolute moron. But I mean, the guy has a dildo company, you know, there's not much, you know, you can't expect much coming out of this guy, man.
Lo que yo sí te puedo decir que el sistema defensivo nacional que combina la fuerza popular, militar, policial, ha garantizado y garantiza la integridad territorial, la paz del país y el uso y disfrute de todos nuestros territorios. Y nuestro pueblo está seguro y en paz. Lo que yo sí te puedo decir que el sistema defensivo nacional que combina la fuerza popular, militar, policial, ha garantizado y garantiza.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys gotta like seriously look out for a lot of this propaganda and shit. So even the protests happening in Iran, you have just as many videos coming out showing pro IRGC members who are literally on the streets telling it for what it is, right? It's a fucking it's a refugee crisis that they're having of individuals who are starting trouble and shit. And this is all, again, like a part of Israel's plan to break Iran, the regime. Because they don't want to just like target their ballistic missile production and their nuclear weapons and all that. They want to actually remove the regime, right? Hasn't worked anywhere throughout the world. So apparently, it's supposed to work in Iran, which is probably the hardest place for a regime change to actually occur. So Sanyal was also talking about NVIDIA is increasing its business and strategic presence in Israel. He put the number at $4 trillion. So R&D, innovation and partnerships, talent and presence. Israel is apparently becoming an AI and tech hub. Translation, it's an economic cooperation to continue Israel's war. The $4 trillion is going to be used on weapons. To buy more weapons, guys, okay? Let's get into this video here, man. Let's take a look at.
And I have to tell you
$4 trillion
that Israel has come out of this war stronger than ever before militarily, stronger than ever before economically. Strong. What does strong mean? Well, we just signed a $37 billion gas deal. That's strong. We just have NVIDIA. NVIDIA, you know NVIDIA, small company, $4 trillion, you know. They decided to have a massive investment in Israel. And we welcome it. And I have to tell you that Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, $4 trillion for this guy's giving a speech at the Shabbat synagogue in Miami, Florida. He was actually calling for violence and to combat anti-Semitism. Let's look at this video.
And resolve. It's a pleasure to be among proud Jews and proud non-Jewish friends of the Jewish people in the state of Israel. To understand that unity, strength, and resolve are the guardians and guarantors of our future. Unity, strength, and resolve. That's what makes the difference. Now, the tragedy, the history of our people, is that having been exiled from our land, we lost strength, unity, and resolve. And the consequences are horrific, more than inflicted any other people in history. We were expelled from land to land. We suffered pogroms. We suffered massacres, culminating in the greatest massacre of them all, the Holocaust, in which a third of our people were lost.
And Netanyahu leaves the audience with a message about the rising tide of anti-Semitism worldwide.
The last thing you should do is lower your head and seek cover. That's not what you should do. You should stand up and be counted. You should fight back. You should speak up. You should attack your attackers. You should delegitimize and delegitimize us. That's what you need to do.
Racism, bigotry, and divisiveness. In fact, when we moved here, no Jews were allowed to live in Bal Harbour. And look at us now. We're hosting the Prime Minister of Israel.
We're going to hear from our U.S. senators who are here and our lieutenant governor. And side note, the U.S. Secret Service will not let you out until they're done anyway. So. Y'all got to clear this area. Clear this area.
Yeah, so yeah. We're gonna get into some more interesting topics here about the a lot of people making a big deal about the Somalian crackdown on the daycare centers, and we're gonna talk about why a lot of that shit is complete garbage. We might do it on this live. I don't know. We'll see. So I also want to get into this. I was watching InfoWars the other day, and apparently one of the individuals is, you know, talking about how Trump might not make it to his second term, and then he might die suddenly in office from the COVID shots. Or I think he might get assassinated, because this is the thing, guys. Even though that, you know, he looks like he's doing everything that the Israelis and the globalists and the deep staters want, you know, he is also still doing certain things that are, you know, Trump style. It goes against the grain, right? Like selling F-35s to Saudi Arabia and Turkey, which Israel is livid, you know. Saudi Arabia with F-35s.
The problem is Trump went full vaxxed, took another COVID vaccine, and he may have brain damage now. And so I'm expecting he will not make it to the end of his term. He will probably die suddenly in office because he won't stop taking the retard shots. He needs a CAT scan of his brain as soon as possible. I gave some of the images to your staff that show I've been collecting CAT scans of my patients' brain scans that patients after the vaccine, and a lot of them have pretty significant brain damage, and they're now literally retarded. And that's why I started calling them retard shots, because I've been noticing that the people that took 4 and 5 shots now seem literally to be retarded, and in many cases they are.
Lobotomy.
Basically, it's a chemical lobotomy. The frontal lobe of the brain is often damaged in the screenshots. You can show them later if you can find them, but it's horrible what we're seeing. You know, every shift I work in the ER, I'm seeing 5 to 10 vax-injured patients per shift having heart problems, strokes, weird, bizarre cancers in young people. And the one thing all these patients have in common is they took these COVID-19 fake vaccine poison bioweapons. We need to stop the shots and pull them off the market immediately. That's how we'll make America healthy again. I wanted to ask you a question, Tom. Do you agree that we cannot make America healthy again until Susie Wiles is fired?
100%. I mean, listen, Bobby Kennedy was an absolute warrior against these mRNA jabs. Suddenly he gets there, and Pfizer, Pam Bondi, and World Economic Forum Wiles won't let him do anything. I mean, we're getting incremental improvements, and that's great. And yeah, I understand he's still got crooks like Cassidy to deal with. But I mean, let's be realistic about what's happening here. We all know what's happening. There is an evil core of people, and this is no different than Jeff Sessions. This is no different than Bill Barr. This is no different than Mike Pence. Trump does have a record of having bad appointments, and we've got a bunch of them right now. What's occurring right now is inarguable. It's inarguable.
All right. We got Dr. Ben Marble, good friend of mine. He did during COVID, free health care for people online. And now they're trying to take his medical license. Great patriot. And so these are the fallen people we don't think about. Well, it's happening. We had hundreds of thousands of nurses, doctors fired during COVID, and the tyranny still continues on. Veterans, people in the military kicked out for not taking it. Alabama Medical Board trying to cancel his license because someone filed a complaint against him claiming unprofessional conduct. This is all about persecution. He joins us now. Dr. Ben Marble, wow. You know, you've been persecuted a lot, but at least you're vindicated with RFK Jr. banning the new mRNA shots, the mercury they're trying to pull out, federal judges trying to block him. And it's not perfect. But my God, if we not move the needle, that's got to be vindicating for you with all the persecution you've gone through.
Oh, absolutely, Alex. You know, it's been 5 years we've been fighting this war. And it's clear to everybody that we won. We were right from day one when we told everybody not to take the COVID vaccines. You know, November, December 2020, I told everybody these shots are not going to be good. They're going to be dangerous. Nobody should take them. And hindsight is 2020, and I was right. Nobody benefited from these. You know, the lie is that they say that millions of lives were saved with the COVID vaccines. That's a great big lie. You know,
yeah, maybe he dies. I don't know, man. Like, I think that they're obviously mad about the fact that he's about to supply Saudi Arabia with the F-35s and Turkey as well, meaning, you know, Israel won't have military dominance over the Middle East, right? Because now Saudi Arabia has the F-35s, nuclear weapons, in Pakistan, man. I want to get into this one of these creators here that's really pissing me the fuck off, man. This little shithead, this little fake ass wannabe here, Indian looking dude. I don't know. This guy's like an Indian Jew, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna get into it. This clown says some pretty interesting things. He's getting a lot of hype. You know, a lot of these guys don't make any impact because the general consensus, like, throughout the world is Israel equals bad. Okay, like, there's nothing that these assholes could possibly do. You know, he runs around saying they run around like trying to promote these channels. No one knows who the fuck these guys are.
Without you having to say anything.
Not to say anyone. You know, I'm not saying like, you know, he doesn't. Yeah, nobody knows who the fuck these guys are. These guys are fucking idiots, bro. The propaganda war on Israel, and it's not even a war, it's just literally watching a footage of what's happening in Gaza, of women and children being targeted, and all the international war crimes, 244 journalists being killed within 2 years, record-breaking shit that people are like, wow, somebody needs to really psychologically study these individuals, because there's obviously something is out of the ordinary, right? We're gonna get into why this guy's a fucking.
I already know you are
off.
Haiwan. I don't need you to.
Why you are saying like this?
Because what? And I don't mean to be mean to you. You're.
Fuck up, faggot.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam, brother.
Alhamdulillah.
How are you?
Very good, alhamdulillah, bro. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Why you say alhamdulillah?
Why not?
Why? Why you?
First off, man, like, I wouldn't even, like, I don't know why this guy's allowing. I wouldn't even let this, like, little shithead prick. Right. By the way, he's like some Iraqi Jew, so I guess he knows Arabic and stuff like that. In Israeli society, the Mizrahi Jews are like the lowest of the low. It's like they're like the dudes that go on the front line of the IDF, and then like as they're entering South Lebanon, they're the ones that are like, all right, go ahead, like this, you guys are the test run dummies. Like, go ahead and see if you guys can make it, 10 feet into like a southern Lebanese village, and then all of a sudden you hear, oh shit, 10 people just got fucking annihilated by an RPG. And these are like the Mizrahi Jews in Israel. Mizrahi Jews have zero power. They're actually very segregated against two. The Ashkenazis run like all the government. They have all the they're like all the government officials. They're the ones with the money and shit. They're the ones that make the decisions. These are the dumbasses like that die in the IDF, like going into Gaza, like getting their shit fucking knocked off. So let's get into what this clown has to say.
Say Alhamdulillah.
Why not?
You are live right now.
No.
You are live.
I'm not.
Say Wallah, you are not live.
Wallahi, I'm not live. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not
wait.
live. Ana mish live.
Wait.
Okay.
I want to talk with you for something.
تفضل.
Don't go. Don't skip.
تفضل. Speak.
You swear you don't speak.
تفضل. I don't skip Muslim. Only Muslims skip me. I never skip Muslim.
Okay. I am Muslim.
I know.
I know.
I know.
I'm from Lebanon.
Okay. None of us are surprised right now. I can see exactly who you are.
You know Lebanon. Wait.
Wait. Are you from South Lebanon?
Yes, I am from the south.
I don't need to know.
Israel. And
Wait. Hold on. I just 1 second for my audience. Did you guys make the connection of how I knew he was from South Lebanon? South.
No,
wait. Halas, 1 second.
It's
Halas, 1 second. 1 second. Ismaoni, 1 second. It's for my audience, the people watching. Do you guys know how I knew he was from South Lebanon?
It was dumbass.
South Lebanon has a reputation of being the not so intelligent people in Lebanon. Hence the reason they keep attacking Israel. The smart Lebanese are the ones who live a little bit more north, usually the Christian ones. The jihadists like him.
They're the ones that bend over backwards and open their assholes over to the U.S. and Israel so they can come and like tell them what to do. This guy's a fucking absolute moron. And by the way, he's talking about the South Lebanese as like what the Israelis talk about him as Mizrahi. He's like the fucking, like I was telling you, he's like the scumbag that like they're like, oh okay, your front line in the IDF, like get ready to get your brains RPG'd the fuck out. Ashkenazis sit back and like tell this fucking clown what to do. But this is the funny like dynamic here, and he doesn't realize that in South Lebanon 50% of the population is Christians. Stupid ass.
Here, I have a present for you. Can I give you a present? I want to give you a present. This one is for you, brother.
Yeah, bro. Wait. You are laughing.
Wait, bro.
Fucking
Wait.
Hold up. HIV test save lives. Dude, don't even get me started with Tel Aviv is the gay capital city of the Middle East. There's HIV running rampant there. There was two IDF dudes literally like feeling up on each other's bussies, and one of them is like proposing to the other IDF on a tank, like some other dude and shit like that. Don't even get me fucking started. This clown just literally like is making fun. See, this is why these dudes like they never really get like go anywhere except like the Zio dollars and the Zio algorithm that they put him in, so all of a sudden he has like 700,000 subscribers, because he makes stupid ass jokes like this where we could literally debunk it. Yeah, HIV's rampant in your community, dude, in Tel Aviv, rampant. Shout out to the gay people, but like, you guys have gay people come to, all the gay people support, Israel, regardless of what they're doing, because they literally go and have Tel Aviv orgies. It's like a literal Tel Aviv gay orgy session there every fucking day. You know what I mean? Hepatitis, syphilis, all that shit's rampant there. Go look it up.
Who want to save lives?
You're a clown.
You need Phil for HIV?
No, I don't need. I don't need. But wait. Who want to save lives?
This one, by the way. This one from South Lebanon, my friend bring me from IDF.
Okay, no problem.
This one is in the house of Hassan Nasrallah friend. I get this one from Lebanon.
By the way, this is like a Palestinian keffiyeh, man. Like nobody in Lebanon really wears it. But that's funny. Like again, like this guy's a complete idiot. If I was on the lab, I'd literally smoke this clown. I'll make him quit his entire life.
You are laughing. You are not talking.
I will make the zoo.
I know. I just want to explain to my audience.
Wait,
why...
I'm not making a fight with you.
No, I listen, brother. I know without you having to say anything. I already know you are Haywan. I don't need you to.
Why you are saying like this?
Because what? And I don't mean to be mean to you. You're from South Lebanon. You're not normal people.
I am from South Lebanon.
But you're not. You're Majnoon.
Yeah, he's normal talking about it's okay to kill women, and the target was specifically target women and children and kill 250 fucking journalists. Breaking every world record and every international war crime. Yeah, you're definitely normal. You come from a normal society, you dumbass. I think this guy is he's definitely not. He's probably like an undercover Indian, like one of those like X accounts where the guy behind them is like some Indian dude in fucking New Delhi or some shit, like cosplaying an IDF person. Like they do a lot of these like Hasbara, like psyops and shit. Well, they'll have like dudes like this that'll come out with like a book in the US and talk about how they're Palestinian and shit, and they grew up in, wherever the fuck they grew up in Palestine, and they're against the Palestinian state and all that shit. So he's got to be one of those Indian dudes that somehow snuck into like Israel, and now they're using him as like they're pretty much using him as like a way to combat all the anti-Israel shit, which is like there's literally no way to combat anti-Israel rhetoric, guys. It's like it's fucking denying you have herpes and shit, like, and you got a whole outbreak on your face. Like it's like it's over with. It's over with, man. It's done. Like you need to literally like reset everybody's brain for the next 100 years to combat the anti-Israel shit. Like
tell now I'm not saying for you bad words.
and how many minutes until you start exploding?
No, I will not explode. I swear I will not explode.
Okay, go. Tfaddal, what do you want to say, bro?
Why I want to say for you bad words?
Because you're from South Lebanon and you guys are a little bit crazy.
Now, do you see that I am from South Lebanon and you are Israel? I don't say small
so
word bad.
Continue. Let's see how long you go.
Okay, wait.
I know, brother, I know you better than you know yourself. Don't pretend with me. Go. What do you think I don't know who you guys are? I talk to you every day. I know exactly what you're thinking. Go.
Every day you talk with us.
Every day I talk to you. Every day.
Why? Wait.
Because I love you.
And wait.
Yes.
Please don't be.
Tfaddal, speak.
Don't
Tfaddal.
go to the highway.
Tfaddal.
Okay. Why you say Wallah? Do you know Allah?
Yes.
And you are making like this in Lebanon and in Gaza and everywhere.
I know Allah. I read the Quran twice.
Okay, طيب. In the Quran.
Do you know Allah?
Yes, I know.
What about you is Muslim? What about you is Arab? Nobody in the Arab world thinks you are an Arab. Everybody laughs at you that you are Phoenician. And nobody believes that you guys are real Muslim. And you are Shia, correct?
Okay, and this is another, guys, you got to watch out for this this tactic they use. There's another psyop. They'll try to say, oh, you're not actually Arab, but because you're not from Saudi Arabia. Oh, you're not this, you're not that. Oh, you're not Muslim because you're not Sunni Muslim. And the whole time, this is the wild shit. This is the most wild shit. This guy's a potential Indian dude, right, that snuck into Israel and like is now cosplaying as Israeli Jew. If he's not, let's say he's like Yemeni or some shit or Iraqi or whatever. Bitch, you're not from fucking Palestine. You're not from that region, you dumb fuck. You're from fucking Iraq or Yemen, right? You dumbass piece of shit. And not only that, you're in a fake ass fucking country that was drawn up by the British, right? That nobody on planet Earth with a right mind approves of it or recognizes it, right? Unless they're forced to because they're economically dependent on the pedophiles in the Pentagon. Dude, you're literally from a fucking country, right? That was made up, dude. What are you talking about? Like, you literally flip the same logic on your stupid ass. And then they'll say stuff like, oh, if you're from Palestine or from Lebanon, you're not actually Arab because you're not from Saudi Arabia. Not knowing that a lot of the people that went to those regions, were people from different Arab tribes that settled there years ago, and they Arabized the region. Dumb fuck. You know, so yeah, dude, I gotta get on this guy's live. I'll fucking cream his ass. Like he'll literally, like his entire channel would like lose.
Yes,
thousands
Ali
of subscribers.
Hussein, Ali Hussein. Brother, don't play with me games. I know you better than you know yourself.
Look, motherfucker, look. Let me tell you something.
This is the way of Muhammad. See, and they skip. I want to tell you. I want that to be right there a lesson, real quick. I want that to be a lesson. And I know I was being a bit of an asshole, but he was being facetious, and I need to explain exactly what was going on there. He was waiting to attack me. Don't give them an inch. If you know your enemy, which I know the people of Southern Lebanon for the most part, not everyone. But him for sure, if he's on Omi TV, he's coming to yell at Jews. There's no other reason he's on here. He's not here to have peace. You could tell by the way he's sitting, you just can read your enemy really well. The guy was going to curse me out. So make him feel small, attack him, bring his ego down, 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 down. He only has two options after that, either to come back up with me or to run. No in between. That's a perfect...
Bro, I swear to God, the guy barely spoke English. If I was on your fucking live, I'll absolutely smoke you, bro. I'll make you quit your entire fucking existence, bro. Okay, you're such a... And dudes like this think they're actually doing something when they have zero influence in any... If anything, like, this guy's making it worse for the Israelis and the Jews because it's so easy to debunk a lot of his shit. Right? Like when he says stuff like, oh, you're not actually Muslim. Oh, you're not actually Arab because you're Lebanese. Or, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? You're from fucking Yemen or India or wherever the fuck. Okay? You're not from that region, dumbass. Regardless of what, you know... And not only that, this dude's in his country, in Israel, literally treated like... I'm sure he's treated like trash, right? Because he's Mizrahi or whatever the fuck. Probably frontlining. If he loves it so much, go frontline in Gaza. Then why are you on YouTube? Go join the IDF. Isn't there mandatory service? You know what I mean? And this is the type of dude that they'll like throw in the front lines, like to get absolutely pulverized, like the minute they step into Southern Lebanon and shit. You know what I mean? Anyways, bro.